Hi everyone, I'm Miss Carrie from the Western Ranch Library, and today I will be teaching you how to batik paint. I'll go ahead and list the supplies that you'll need and we can get started. The first thing you'll need is a piece of cardboard. You'll need a piece of fabric, or this is a cotton sheet. You can use a t-shirt, anything like that. This is a coloring page. If you're good at drawing, you don't need that, but I'm not, so I'm going to trace it. This is blue washable Elmer's glue. I'm using a paintbrush and a pencil, some masking tape, a little bit of water, acrylic paint of your choice, whatever color, or fabric paint if you have it, a pair of scissors. The first thing I'm going to do is cut my piece of fabric from a cotton sheet that I have. This is just an old sheet that I had laying around, and I'm going to cut it about 8 by 10 to cover my coloring sheet. This is just a sloth picture I printed off of the internet. You can use any color sheet you might have, or you can go ahead and draw if you're good at drawing. I don't happen to be that good at freehand drawing, so I'm going to go ahead and trace. I'm laying the fabric as smooth as I can over the color sheet. Now I'm going to take masking tape and I'm going to cover all 4 sides with masking tape just to try to hold it down as best as possible, so that way I can see the lines. You can go ahead and iron this before if you'd like it. It is a little bit wrinkled, I notice, looking back, but just make sure you have a grown-up help you iron. And so I want this to lay as smooth as possible so I can see the lines. Taking my pencil, I'm just lightly tracing it. You want to just make sure it's dark enough for you to see. The paint will cover this, so you won't see this after you paint it and everything, so don't worry too much about that. Just don't use a pen because the pen will definitely show. Now, I'm not going to trace the whole thing here for you because it does take a while. This is something you can sit outside and do in the sun. You can really see those lines, and or you can stay inside, either one. But it is a nice, couple-hour project to do. It's not something that has to be done really quickly. And you don't want to make it too detailed, too small, because that makes it a little bit difficult to get the paint and the glue in. So it doesn't have to be too detailed. Now, the reason I chose this project is I saw some batik art. It's from Java, Indonesia. That's where it originated. And they actually use wax when they're doing this type of art, and so they use hot wax. Today we're going to just use some blue Elmer's glue, and so this is going to take the place of the wax, since it's a little bit more safer for a kid project. I'm using blue rather than white because I can see it shows up, and I can see to make sure I covered all of my lines. Basically, I'm using it to trace along everything that I penciled in. It does not have to be perfect. You can kind of, if you make a little mistake or anything, don't worry. You can either wipe it off or just continue on. You want to make sure that it's covered, and you want to put it outside to dry. Once it's all dry, it depends, a couple hours or less to dry. You want to get your acrylic paint, and you want to mix it with a little bit of water, and then you can begin to paint your drawing. Now you want to make sure it's not too thin like watercolor paint, but you don't want it to be a thick acrylic paint either. You want it to be a in-between consistency. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Go ahead and cover the blue glue. Wherever the glue is what will end up being white on your canvas there. So just keep that in mind and have fun. Make sure you cover the entire piece of fabric. You want it to all be nice and covered. In Indonesia, when they do make this art, they only use a couple of colors usually, and they use nice bright colors. So keep that in mind. But as always, feel free to do whatever colors makes you happy. After you're done, you'll hang it out to dry. Once it's completely dry, you'll add some boiling hot water. Make sure you have adult supervision. Some boiling hot water to a pot or the sink. And you'll want to put the cloths in. I'm using a stick to stir them under the water. The flower one is the one I made off camera. And it takes a good hour or so for it to soak. And you want to let the water cool. Go back and you can see that most of the glue is completely gone, and in its place it has the white lines. You can look, see if there's any more blue glue on there. If there is, just gently rub it. It'll come right off. You can rinse it under some warm water, wring it out, and then you'll want to hang it outside to dry, or just hang it to dry. Actually, don't leave it outside. If you do, don't leave it outside too long, because the colors will start to fade. And I just happened to hang it on the fence outside of my library. And what are you going to do with it now? You can do so many things. I'm going to cut this and glue it onto a tote bag. You can make a pillow out of it. You can frame it and hang it on the wall. There's lots of fun things you can do with it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.